All right, guys. Oof. So the underlying energy is the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles talks about commitment, an offer of commitment, an offer of longevity. This could also indicate here that this could be, reevaluating or looking at a certain situation very closely, looking at the details. And this could also indicate tedious and diligent work, perhaps in your love lives. Now, underneath here, you have the Five of Swords. So yeah, there may be a bit of, conflict going on. This can be very brutal conflict, guys. And this, in regards to this, Five of Swords situation, there may be some sort of, stability or some sort of offer here based off of what was potentially lost in the past. Because the Five of Swords, you always lose something with that, even if you remain remain stern on your beliefs or whatever you're trying to go after. Because the Five of Swords is a ruthless energy, but you compromise that. Now let me go ahead and take a look at this here, because currently you have the Seven of Wands. Okay, that's a very defensive energy in itself. Like you're having to fight off or fend off some people or fend off some things that may not agree with you, or you may not agree with it. Okay. And I feel like this energy could seriously be talking about standing your ground in regards to yourself. Or this could be in a relationship, or you could be having to defend yourself in a relationship, considering that we just saw the Five of Swords. Now, with that being said, your goal is the Nine of Wands. So this could be like feeling like, honestly, I feel like you guys want to get to a place where you have, you're not struggling, you're not, tired, you're not exhausted. But you honestly, I feel like you just want to get this thing done and over with, most importantly. I feel like you've been putting a lot of effort into the situation, and that can be seriously exhausting all in itself. So for some of you guys, this could be that, you're dealing with a situation where it's difficult and you want to just get to the end of it. At the end of the day, you just want to you want to get to the end of the situation. The Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, it doesn't necessarily talk about an ending. It does talk about wanting to just get it over with, or just kind of feeling so tired and just ready to throw in the towel. You've been defensive here for quite a bit, and I feel like it's just because of the conflicts that you've been dealing with. You're now trying to figure out whether or not this offer really has everything that you kind of want to start off with. I mean, not necessarily, but the Page of Pentacles, it could just be talking about you're looking at the situation or the relationship in a different light. You're trying to figure out what is its true value. What is the true value that you see in this relationship? Because you're constantly, you're in defensive mode already. The thing that's keeping you from being able to just kind of, I guess not necessarily drop the relationship, but just kind of, I don't know. I feel like with this Nine of Wands, you do want to potentially just like leave it be. You don't want to stick with it. You're kind of tired of dealing with it. And and you haven't given up on it yet because of this Eight of Cups. You haven't walked away from the situation. You're not emotionally done. You're still invested in this relationship. Your emotions are still involved in it. And I feel like, that's what's keeping you from being able to just kind of walk away or dump it. And honestly, I think the wish may just be that you want this to be over with. You want it to just get to where you want it to be. You've been working very hard. You've been super defensive lately. But the thing that's not, it hasn't kicked off yet. I mean, it's honestly like, it's not like goodness. It's like the Nine of Wands is like, you just want this to wrap up. But emotionally, you're not done. You're not done with it. You're not done with the relationship yet. And it could be because of this Knight of Wands, something that you believe that is very fun, very exciting, that is, very passionate, but they don't show a lot of stability or commitment here. You got a lot of cards here that show non-commitment. Okay, Knight of Wands. Not just non-commitment, but non-stability either. Seven of Wands, Nine of Wands, Knight of Wands, Five of Wands, Five of Swords. The Page of Pentacles is the only thing in here that really would even show some sort of stability or some sort, right? Something that actually is talking about commitment. Other than that, you've been going through this situation back and forth with this individual, and I feel like it's because, you do enjoy their company. You do like them. You do love them. You want something more out of it, but it's like it's like this person has some sort of, you and this person have a connection, and it's hard to separate from. Very interesting, Virgo. Because in your not hopes and fears, in your advice, you have the King of Wands. And the King of Wands talks about, just going ahead and firing up that passion, being in the energy of a Wands, which is just doing what you do, going after what it is that you want, making it happen, making it known, just doing something, right? Making the action. Perhaps you've been waiting for some time, or you've been, like I said, defensive, or defending yourself of some sort, and you're tired of waiting. But it's not because, I feel like there's just nothing going on. You're connected with this individual still, potentially, or like you're not emotionally done with it. Okay, it's so strange. The feelings is the Five of Wands. So you feel this conflict in your emotions, this inner turmoil in your emotions, potentially because you have some feelings for this individual. Or maybe this person is confused themselves. Like, you don't know what the hell is going on. It's so confusing for you. That's what it looks like. Why is the Nine of Wands in their goal? And, the goal. What is that? Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, this is about just throwing in the towel. Like, are you going to be able to get to the end here? You put in a lot of work already. Is it like, with this relationship to be even in this position, like, you've had to have put so much work into it. But at the same time, you don't really want to give up on it because you've put so much effort into it. But at the same time, what are you getting out of this relationship? Why is the 8? What do you mean by the 8 of Cups in their obstacle? The 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, so you guys are feeling left out in the cold. You don't have, there's a lot of lacking in this relationship. There's a lot of lack in this relationship. But you're not necessarily ready to give up on it. You're not ready to let it go. You're not emotionally done with it. There's something that's still there. It's lacking, but it's not completely dissipated. What is the Knight of Wands trying to say with this situation? Oh my gosh, the Knight of Swords. So this is potentially something that you feel is a bit immature, because you're coming up as the King of Wands, which is the oldest it can get in the tarot here. And you have Knights. So you're dealing with somebody who you feel is either not as mature as you are, who doesn't really see what you need, see what needs to be done. And you're just, in the advice is telling you to just do it, potentially. But this person, they just kind of like to have fun. They are very, it's almost like you're just having a hard time dealing with somebody that's just so immature. That's what it looks like. But you still have a connection with this person. They bring that youthful energy out of you that allows you to have fun. The Knight of Swords is very interesting. They're very combative in how they communicate with you sometimes. They're very clear about what it is that they believe. And it could be that they believe they deserve freedom, potentially, because the Knight of Wands is someone that is very free. But then that could keep this relationship from being very stable, because they're not very committed. They're not necessarily not committed, but they're not looking for commitment right now. Why is the advice the King of Wands for them? For Virgo, excuse me. Why is this King of Wands the advice? The Sun. Clarity. Path to potential happiness. So it could just have a lot to do with the fact that there is something, there's action that needs to be taken along the path that truly leads you to potential happiness. You have the clarity, which with the Sun, and the Page of Pentacles is looking at the details. So perhaps there is there's just something that needs to be done right now in regards to getting to where you want to be. Okay? I think that's what it is. The Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups rather, gosh. The Eight of Cups is talking about it's about walking away. It's about not walking away physically, but being emotionally done with the situation, to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to find my own way to be happy. And the Five of Pentacles is like not in a stable place at all, but they will still find they'll still find what makes them happy. They'll still try to find what they need to be more stable. And I don't, with them being the obstacle, I don't think any of that's happening. I don't think that there is something going on. I mean, I don't think that there's anything that's being done about the situation. I think it's just constantly being defensive and constantly being, holding your guard up, because there's nothing really being done. It's just constant somebody not really, just coming in and out, doing whatever they want to do, and not, and being super aggressive if they're asked to do something else. So I feel like the King of Wands is in itself very stubborn and very stern, and just like do whatever the hell they want to do anyway. With the Sun there, it's almost like you have the clarity that you need to be able to execute a certain task. And I feel like with this relationship, there may be some more conflict that needs to be dealt with. Because you have in your outcome justice. And I know I just skipped this card here, but just to look at that for a second, justice, balancing of karmic scales. And this could also be the card for not just divorce but marriage, right? This usually when you hear readers bring up justice, that talks about somebody could be getting divorced, there could be some sort of legal situation. This could be marriage too. This could be like, hey, okay, so we have reached the pinnacle of the relationship. Are we going to make a pivotal point to make something stable out of this thing? Are we going to actually rebuild and potentially make a decision about where we want to be in a relationship together? We have the Five of Wands in your feelings, so you feel inner turmoil about it. You don't know if this person is whether even worth your time, because you at least are coming up as the King of Wands, and they're coming up as Knights. This person may not be very serious, but they are serious with the Knight of Swords. It's very weird. They're very flip-floppy. They're not consistent. They want something when they're very passionate, very fun and exciting women, and then they're very serious the next. But how they communicate that can be very just contradictory. It's very strange. But you have some sort of connection with this individual, no doubt, or else you wouldn't have the Five of Wands in your feelings. There's something that's keeping you from being able to make a decision about what you want to do about the situation. There's something that's keeping you from being able to do what you want to do, or to get what you want to get out of this relationship. Or if there's something that you've been doing for the longest time, it's hard, tedious work, because that's what the Page of Pentacles could be, right? Tedious work, constantly working on stuff, and it's boring and it's not exciting and it's the same old BS. It's like, what are you supposed to do? It's like at the end of the day, you're like, I don't know what to do. You have some sort of commitment with this individual, commitments of some sort, but then at the same time, you're not getting anything out of it. Or you are, and it's just that it's not enough. It's still not where you want to be. Okay, you're making progress, but at the same time, it's like, well, we're still not where you want to be. So it's like the King of Wands and the Sun. It's like, you know where you want to be already, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like it's ultimately saying it's time to just go ahead and do whatever it is that you want to do. All right, it is what it is. If this person's not, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to just be the person that you want in a relationship. And with the King of Wands, it's like, hey, just kind of, if you're going towards a certain direction, maybe you should just go on it and just say, hey, you know what? I'm doing it. You can't catch up. You can't catch up. The Five of Wands is like inner conflict. Why do you have inner conflict in your feelings? What is inner conflict for? Oh gosh. Okay, the Knight of Wands. About fun, about having fun, expressing yourself, traveling. Huh. Why is the Knight of Wands coming up? The Nine of Cups. Going after what it is that you truly want. It's maybe you're not certain, maybe you're not sure, but there's a lot of inner turmoil about going after what it is that you want. Your hopes and fears, you have the Two of Swords, which is dealing with a situation and making the hard decision. It's hard to make a decision that's you're not sure of the outcome, but it's going to require you to take off your blindfold to make the truest and most honest decision for yourself. Because in your outcome, you have Justice, which is talking about balancing of the karmic scales. Maybe an apology will come in. Maybe something will be straightened out and you won't have to do what you feel like you may need to do. But at the end of the day, The King of Wands is talking about doing some sort of action. And if this isn't you, this could be that there is somebody around you right now that is your advice. Like, maybe you should just let them be, right? Allow them to express themselves. Allow them to do what they want. The King of Wands is so strange in your advice. You see what the Romance Angel says. Chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. The King of Wands does attract people. He attracts people by his energy that he emits. He's very authentic. He's true to himself. So it makes sense, right, to have chemistry for the King of Wands in your advice, because he's authentic. He attracts people anyway. And I feel like that's potentially what's keeping you guys from necessarily, I guess, making the decision to go after what it is that you want, because you do feel like there's some sort of attachment here. There's some sort of chemistry. There's something that's attractive about this individual. Alright, what's going on with this? Let's see what else. Show simple acts of kindness. A simple act of kindness can energize you and bring happiness to those around you. So potentially, maybe there is a lack of passion in this relationship. There's a lot of defensiveness. There's a lot of, feeling very stressed out because there's a period of seriousness. Maybe there just needs to be some fun in the whole relationship, out of everything. Maybe there just needs to be a little more fun. Maybe because you're just stressed out. Maybe the whole relationship is under a serious amount of stress because you guys have been doing some hardcore work and diligence and being ruthless in the relationship to make it to be what you want it to be, or make it be whatever you guys both want it to be. But you're not having fun. You're not enjoying it. You guys are feeling left out in the cold. So maybe there is a time or a place for seriousness and a time and place for fun. And that's the hard part, right? To figure out what it is that is enjoyable. But I think that's what the King of Wands does. The King of Wands doesn't do anything he doesn't enjoy. And I feel like that may be it, right? To just go after and do what you guys enjoy with each other. Express your love. Express your passions in creative ways. Maybe the whole thing is, maybe there isn't a breakup in sight. Maybe there's just that the karmic scales could be that there is something that needs to be done in regards to doing and being. Loving and enjoying your relationship and doing what you need to do to make it more stable. Maybe you just guys constantly in a situation where you're arguing all the time and there isn't a lot of fun. How to bring fun back in your life? You have a connection here with this individual. You jive with this individual very well. And I think it's just that there may be just so much stress that you end up feeling you guys could be feeling very overworked.